Welcome to BK Gardens. Today's episode is about how to protect your food from critters, insects, birds that want to eat your food that you've worked hard to grow. They should not get it before you get a chance to either give it away or eat it yourself. The biggest thing and frustration of gardeners is after you've done all the work of getting your soil right, getting your plants lined up in terms of soil needs, water, sun, is to have these critters come in, whether that's deer in the suburbs or here in Brooklyn you have squirrels, birds, and actually we're in the middle of COVID-19. We have a ton of rats coming off the main avenues. We're off of Fifth Avenue because a lot of the restaurants are closed right now and they're getting more aggressive looking for food. So what I want to do today is give you 3 methods to protect your food and keep your greens, fruit, whatever else you're growing safe. First one is very DIY, cheap solution. All these solutions are pretty cheap. Is old chicken wire. This I did with a combination of bought a thing of chicken wire and then some PVC piping about 3/4 inch, and then 2x2 pretty light wood, just a simple nail connecting these, untreated wood as always for this, and then really just built a few hoops for this thing. So 3 hoops, meshed it over to the top, and this thing has been great. Here we have my kale. Kale is totally protected. This season is the first year I'm growing kale in here, but through this in the seeds down, no squirrels got in or any other creatures this spring, and the garden is thriving. The pros of doing a chicken wire is it's definitely strong, like no rat's gonna chew through it, or squirrel, unless that squirrel is like MacGyver and has a way of cutting through this mesh. Very hard to do. Hey, the cons against it, hey, this is not going to help you for invasive insects. They're going to get at it. The kale has actually done pretty great. Not a lot of insects have gotten to this thing. They're actually thriving completely. But if you do want to protect it versus insects, you're going to want to look at a different approach. But this one is great. Another slightly negative is like, hey, this thing is pretty light, easy to get in at. It's for harvesting. Once you build something like this, it does make it a little bit harder to get access to your food for quick harvesting, because I'm harvesting basically every night for fresh salad. That's the only negative, but the pros far outweigh the negatives on this, and I've actually built a lot of these over the years. I'll show you a few more examples. Great option. Next option is bird netting, so let's go take a look. Okay, second option for protecting your fruits and vegetables is bird netting. Bird netting is pretty amazing stuff. This stuff is, I bought it for like $50. I have 100 feet of it, more than I need for the whole garden. But great thing about this is it lasts multiple seasons. Like, this is my raspberry bed, very excited about it. So are the robins and blue jays and cardinals that have been scouting this for like the last 6 weeks. These things cannot get into this. This is really the benefits of bird netting. Is it's super easy, just draping it over my trellis here. Really lightweight, so easy to get into, access the fruit. Pretty porous though. This is not going to allow or prevent insects. Invasive insects will get in here, but for birds or even squirrels, pretty fantastic for keeping them out and keeping your fruit safe. Last method of protection I'll show you is some veggie mesh. Let's go take a look. So last but not least is veggie mesh. This stuff is pretty incredible, very durable. It will last actually multiple seasons. I've had this a couple seasons. Very cheap. Put links below. $15 for like a really good size pieces of this that you can cut up, and I've actually used across multiple beds. Benefits of veggie mesh is that this will prevent invasive insects from getting in. Very fine mesh here. Still plenty of room for getting water in and plenty of sunlight, but will create a really protective, high quality barrier from insects getting in, and will also, like, my primary purpose is, hey, I don't want invasive insects getting at my garden bed, but also I don't want primarily here in Brooklyn, squirrels or rats getting in here. It'd be pretty heinous, and trust me, they want this kale and these wonderful sun gold tomato seedlings. But what I'll do is, the great thing about this is that it's super easy to use. You can see here I don't even have a hoop system set up, just 2 stakes, some jars just to prevent tearing of the fabric, and then just lay it over. It's super light, so even if it hits the plants, it's not going to really do damage. Throw it over, and then you can weight it down just with simple log or rocks that you have sitting around, and you are good to go. So those are my tips about how do you protect your veggies and fruits from critters, whether that's deer in the suburbs or here in Brooklyn, those tough Brooklyn squirrels and rats coming off 5th Avenue. If you have comments or suggestions, please hit me up. I want to know how you're doing it cheaper and better. If this is helpful at all, please hit like or subscribe. From Brooklyn on a beautiful summer afternoon, this is Sean Duggan. See you soon. Okay, so one more update. This is a few years later. Learnings have shown me that critter-proofing your garden, it's not a perfect science, but I no longer actually use bird netting. From the video earlier, you see I was using it in Brooklyn. I have really stopped using it because it can really be detrimental and harmful to birds, because it's high probability you're going to get them tangled in it, and unless you can set it up in such a way that they're not going to be trapped, it's probably not going to be used again in my garden personally. Okay, so protecting your garden addendum 2025. This is the next iteration, the Los Angeles garden. This is the driveway garden which we had in Mar Vista for the past 3.5 years. This is chicken wire, which we built with just a simple structure of this is a water resistant wood, kind of decking wood, which is not great for a garden bed but fine for keeping up chicken wire. And this worked really well. This is pretty simple. Lock, door to open, latch. Some sun golds coming in here, and it worked really well this year. Kept out squirrels, kept out raccoons, other things, birds mostly. Little hummingbirds got in, but that's no issue. We did have rats get in here, which is, hey, something's going to happen. And we had some cracks here in the wood in the back with the fence, which, hey, not fully critter proof, but this was pretty darn good. It definitely helped us a lot. We got a lot more of our cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuces not eaten by squirrels and other critters. So highly recommend it. This is super easy to do. Again, just putting up a simple frame and then just throwing the chicken wire around is a great way to protect your gardens from critters and save the food that you've worked hard to grow. So that's it from LA Gardens. Good luck critter proofing your garden. See you soon.